So, what we're gonna start off at, let's talk about high school, man. First of all, actually, just go and give us a rundown. We like to let our guests talk about where you are, where you're from.
John Wall, right, North Carolina, South Side. Big on family, big on loyalty is love. Gotta keep my shirt off my back. I feel like I'm a solid person. I believe in what I believe in. My favorite quote, never satisfied, so journey. Like you said, I had a hell of a journey so far. I still got some more to be written. But I just feel like God gives his toughest battle to his strongest people. And I feel like the shit I've been through, a lot of people wouldn't get through. And like I said in my player tribute interview, I was like, money and fame don't give you peace. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of people think we got money and fame, like everything is easy. Yeah. But we still normal people like everybody else that work a 9 to 5. We go through the same shit every day. So that's basically all about me.
For sure. Talk about high school, man. Shit. Boy. Tell me, how did you knew you was gonna hoop?
Are we here to win? Or are we here to enjoy some crisp barefoot? You know, Greasy. Sure, wine and football can be complicated, but enjoying them should be easy. Let's enjoy ourselves. I'm going to take the 49ers in a very close ball game. I think both teams have very good offenses, very good defenses. I'll give the slight edge to Dak at the quarterback position.
A slight?
Slight edge. I don't think he'll play as well on Sunday as he played on Monday night. And I think the 49ers skill position players are a little better. When you do the totality of Debo, Ayuk, Jennings, Kittle, McCaffrey, I think that group is a little better than the Cowboys group. I think the offensive lines will push. I think the defenses are a push. Both have outstanding young players. You look at Fred Warner, who's a little older player, but he's still in his prime. You look at Diggs, you look at Parsons, you look at Bosa. So, Skip, I think the defenses are probably a push. I think the slight edge to Dak in the quarterback position, although Purdy, over the last 5 to 6 games, have played better than Dak in the totality. But I do think Dak is a better, given his body of work, think he's a little better quarterback. So I think it's going to be a very, very close ball game. I like the matchup, Kyle Shanahan, Dan Quinn. Kyle was the offensive coordinator under Dan Quinn in Atlanta. They did have some success. They went to a Super Bowl. They did blow a 28-3 lead. Kyle knows him. Dan Quinn knows Kyle. So it's going to come down on that particular day. Who can come up with the one play or the one defense or the one offensive set that the other party hadn't seen and been able to exploit that and make the one big play. So I took the 49ers in a very, very close ball game. I say 23-20. 49ers prevail and move on to the NFC Championship.
23-20.
Yes.
By the way, quick comment before I launch on this.
Okay.
I just saw that video, which I hadn't seen before. You realize that's Charles Haley dapping up Mike McCarthy? I never thought I'd see the day.
I didn't see.
I think it was.
That's
Charles Haley. That's my man.
Yeah.
That's Charles Haley.
Yeah.
5 Super Bowl rings.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, that's him.
What? What are you doing, Charles? Well, I guess he's blessing him somehow, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Charles Haley was the ultimate winner to me.
Oh, he was. Yeah, he was a hell of a player. He wasn't just a winner. He changed the dynamic in the NFC for a minute.
All right. Speaking of Charles Haley, acquired by Jerry Jones out of nowhere just before the season started in 1992, who was the catalyst and difference maker that turned a 2 young Cowboy team into a Super Bowl champion.
Right.
I'm about to tell you why my Dallas Cowboys are going to win this game at San Francisco just the way his team won at San Francisco back at the end of the 92 season by the very same score, 30-20. Those Cowboys broke through when nobody saw it coming. They went out and they beat Steve Young and Jerry Rice at their own game. They outscored them 30-20. This was at Candlestick, obviously, as opposed to Levi. But it was still at San Francisco. Nobody saw it coming. Nobody believed the Cowboys could beat the juggernaut that was the 49ers. And they shocked the NFL world that day, 30-20 on the way to a Super Bowl that they would win easily because Jimmy just announced to the team the first day they came back, we are going to beat the Buffalo Bills because it's a done deal because we're just better than they are.
Right.
Okay, well, it's possible if the Giants beat the Eagles, which I think is highly possible. We're about to talk about that in just a moment. That my Cowboys would then go on to an NFC Championship game at home over a team that they should beat to get to a Super Bowl against probably another team they shouldn't beat. But that remains to be seen. Here's the point about my Cowboys. All year long, I have told you again and again and again, This team is different because this team has legit firepower and star power. And I told you, it flexed its firepower again and again, sort of early in the season into the middle of the season, because I'm going to remind you of 40-3 at Minnesota. I'm going to remind you of 33-0 in the fourth quarter, albeit against the Colts, but 33-0 is firepower. I'm going to remind you, 40 points they hung on the Eagles defense, albeit against Gardner Minshew as the opposing quarterback, but still, he didn't play defense, and that day they scored 40 on the Eagles defense. And I'm going to remind you that my team did beat Cincinnati and did beat the Giants twice, and those are all very impressive. But my team took foot off gas down the stretch. And it was pathetic to watch. It was horrifying to watch. And it gave me pause until CD kept saying, no, watch, we're going to flip the switch. Did they ever on Monday night? They flipped it.
Against a bad team?
Okay, I'll give you that. But that guy who plays quarterback for the other team is something, he's a force to be reckoned with in games like this. And we attacked him right out of the box, and we destroyed him. And we destroyed his team just the way I told you. The first words out of my mouth were, we did what we should have done. But how many times have my team not done what it should have done? How many times have they done cowboy things, as you say? How many times have they played down to the level of the competition? This was Monday Night Football against a quarterback who was 7-0 against them. A team that had not won a road playoff game in 30 freaking years. Think about that. In 30 years, wearing the navy blue jerseys in which they had never, ever won a road playoff game because they are jinxed. And trust me, I lived through the early parts of that jinx. All of that working against them, all the way down to they were 1-4 this year on grass because they can't rush the passer on grass the way they can on turf. And what happened, Mr. Sharp? A tour de force happened. It was flexing Super Bowl firepower on Monday Night Football for all the world to see, and maybe Cowboy Nation overreacted. Maybe the whole nation overreacted, but I don't think so. I think you saw what you saw, and I think you came in the next day saying, man, I don't know, that looked pretty great to me, right?
They did that against a bad team, but if they played that way, the way they attacked the quarterback, and the way they moved the ball against a good, they still have an excellent chance. But I'd like to think that the 49ers are a better team because we saw the 49ers do a demolition job that was more severe than what the Cowboys did on the Monday night.
They're a juggernaut. They are a juggernaut. They are loaded. And I will give you, if you start breaking it down position by position, you say, oh, God, the 49ers this and the 49ers that. Dak Prescott, you have said, has been middle of the pack Dak for most of his career. He is now at the end of his 7th season in this league. And you keep saying body of work. What does it tell you? It tells you he's a little above average, right? He had the game of his life at GOAT on Monday night. It felt like, weirdly, he came of age late in his career. Like at the end of year 7, he did what Matt Stafford did last year. I'm going to remind you, Matt Stafford a year ago was at the end of year 13. Think about that. 13.
Yeah.
Where had he been all those years? He'd been lost in Detroit.
Yes.
What had he been in Detroit? A turnover machine. He could spin it. He could wing it. He had a sensational arm. In fact, some people thought he had the best arm in all of pro football, including Aaron Rodgers and Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen, all their arms. And yet, what happened last year? I don't know. The little light went off in the back of the psyche.
With Omen, you can be the playmaking, fast-reacting, quick-thinking, smooth streaming, always on the go version of you.
At O'Reilly Auto Parts, we know how important it is for your car to look sharp and run well. And we're here to make that as simple as possible by delivering everything you need for your next project with free next-day delivery.
Thanks to Sean McVay, putting him in his comfort zone, and all of a sudden, Matt Stafford did lead the league in interceptions last year. So did our guy, right? Tied for the lead.
Yep.
And had 15 in only 12 games.
Right.
Pretty horrifying. Bad signs everywhere. But all of a sudden, Matt Stafford in the playoffs took off last year and played just cleanly enough, albeit throwing the potential interception to Tart that hit him right in the hands. He's no longer 49.
All they had to do is catch it.
All he had to do is catch it. He's no longer 49.
Right.
Dak played not only the game of his life, but he played the kind of game that can launch a quarterback through the tournament, right? And I love that about it, and I'm going to cling to that, and I'm going to believe that he will play close to that. He had a QBR of 97 in that game, for those who know 0 to 100. It's just off the charts great.
If you think about it, Skip, if you look at the difference in the game on Monday night, when Tom Brady made that mistake, Kurtz could have easily dropped it.
Yeah.
Now you get another opportunity.
I agree.
But they made him pay the ultimate price. What Tart, you mentioned in the championship game, he didn't make Stafford pay the ultimate price, because if he makes that pick, it's over. The game's over.
I agree.
There's no more time to go. And now all of a sudden the 49ers are going to the Super Bowl instead of the Rams.
I got it. You're right. And if Brady gets like one more ounce on the ball and it barely is off his fingertips out of bounds off the end line, okay, we might be having a different conversation, because they're about to go up 7-6 because of, I'm going to get to my kicker in just a minute. I hope he doesn't kick me right in the stomach. But the point is, I've told you this all along. In the biggest of games, I like my team a little better on the road than at home. The home scares me because it's Jerry world. It's Jerry's palace. It belongs to Jerry more than the team. It belongs to the world more than the Dallas Cowboys. It doesn't have a great home field advantage feeling to me. It's not like a place, we dread going there, because nobody dreads going there, because everybody goes there to play college championship games and Final Fours and fights and concerts, right? They have it all there. So it's the world stage, and it's not really theirs. And it will scare me a little bit if they do wind up playing a home playoff game for the NFC Championship game. But I'm ahead of myself. I'm just telling you, I'm very content this game is at San Francisco, because that game was at Tampa.
Right.
And we went down there and didn't bat an eye.
Right.
And this game is at a place where we have a long history of playing very well. I know we lost the catch game there, but we won this game in 1992.
Right.
And we've won other big games there. My point is, I don't dread this at all. In fact, I look forward to the opportunity to go to play them at their place. All right, now, here's my biggest point, Steve. A year ago, in the first round of the playoffs, this team, with Jimmy G at quarterback, came to my place. And my team was not ready to play because my coach is the opposite of a motivator. Lately, he's not been getting in the way, and they've been motivating themselves. They need external motivation. They need pressure. They need fear factor of, oh my God, we're on Monday Night Football. We might get embarrassed by the go-to 7-0 against us. That's what motivates my team. This is an oh my God game. We're going to San Francisco. They've won, what's in a row? I've lost track. They 11?
Yeah.
They've won 11 straight games, and they got, you talk about firepower. They got it, to your points. They have it everywhere except quarterback. I'm going to get to that in just a moment. But last year it was Garoppolo, who has a history of playing pretty big in big games. Well, he played pretty well in this game. But here's who didn't play well. Everybody I needed to play well did not. Now, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to give you the blueprint here, the metallic blueprint for how you go beat San Francisco at San Francisco. What happened against San Francisco a year ago? Well, I look up and we're down 23-7. What? We didn't show up. We went into the fourth quarter. With 9 minutes left in the game, we were still down 23-7. And we managed to fight back to, 16. Yeah, 16 it ended. Okay. But here's what happened. As usual, they tried to blast Zeke up the middle. So he tries 12 times and gets a grand total of 31 yards. If they keep trying to do that, we're going to lose this game, because the star has emerged, and that is Tony Pollard. And I told you yesterday, and we can fight about this, and we'll see, because the proof will be in the pudding on Sunday. But I believe that Tony Pollard is a little better than Christian McCaffrey, just because he's a little more explosive, because he's a little bit faster. So what did he do last year? Help me out. He was non-existent in the offense. He got four carries for 14 yards. Well, you can't do that or you're going to lose. And he caught, where's Tony Pollard? He caught 2 balls for a grand total of 12 yards. You can't do that or you're going to lose. What happened to CeeDee Lamb last year? Well, if you could explain this to me, you're way ahead of me, because they threw him 5 balls, but they only got him 1 catch. It didn't go for 21 yards, but that's it. He got 1 ball for 21 yards in that game last year. Okay, but the point is,
that was an astounding victory.
Dalton Schultz, he's the security blanket. He did what he usually does. He caught 7 balls for 89 yards, so that was good, but that's when in doubt, Dak just